Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching Ultraman Season 2 on Netflix. Now, the first Ultraman anime series obviously was a sequel to the Ultraman live-action show, and was basically a generational sequel, following Shinjiro, the son of the original Shin, through a 13-episode CG animated series that actually had fairly good CGI from Production IG and Sola Digital Arts. And now the sequel, made 3 years later, is not only much shorter than the first season at only 6 episodes, but it honestly feels more like an Ultraman movie, as Ultraman joins up with several other Ultramen to take out an alien invasion threatening Earth. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story revolves around several people from America and Japan who are taken and transported over to an alien ship by an evil alien named Pedant. While Shinjiro's girlfriend Reina happens to be among the people who are kidnapped, Shinjiro has to team up with Moroboshi and a new Ultraman, known as Ultraman Taro, who's not only a man on fire, but who also happens to be a photojournalist who has answers as to how the aliens managed to kidnap all these people. So on top of that, we have new Ultramen, new villains, tons of cool fight scenes, and generally all the stuff you'd expect from an Ultraman series. Now, the frame rate for the CGI I think has actually improved this season to the point where it's not exactly Beastars level or even Land of the Lustrous level when it comes to its CG, but not only is it an improvement from the first season, it actually does look pretty solid, to the point where the choreography for a lot of the fights is really on point. Though that should be expected considering the choreography was one of the good aspects about the first season, too. On top of that, most of the voice cast comes back, and along with some of the new characters, they work really well. Kotaro's a really fun new character with both his Man on Fire persona as well as his Ultraman Taro persona. On top of that, he works really well off most of the other characters, especially since Moroboshi gets to essentially once again be my favorite character like he was in the first season. Getting to slice through aliens with his sword, getting to have a duel with an elite on the Golden Fortress, and just generally being a badass. And Princess Maya is another character that's introduced this season, and I think she's pretty good too. She does have the sort of typical arc of being a side villain that ends up helping out the good guys near the end, but the way she handles it is actually makes sense given the villain that she's working for and given the characters that surround her. I think it actually works out pretty well if you take it as just an extended version of the Ultraman TV show, which is basically like most tokusatsu shows. Generally cheesy, but still ultimately very fun. And when you have the best possible animation from Sola Digital Arts and Production IG when it comes to the fight scenes, whether it's lasers firing everywhere, wrestling moves being used on aliens, or even well choreographed sword fights, you have pretty much everything you'd want when it comes to an action series like Ultraman getting another season. And since I felt the pacing was a bit off in the first season, where some episodes felt like they dragged on forever, this one actually improves on the pacing since it gets straight to the point for a lot of it. So yeah, there are flaws, however. I do think some of the new characters don't get nearly enough time as they need to really stand out, and I do feel that some of the fights are a bit short. But the final fight is generally pretty solid, and I do believe that having all these Ultraman together could make a possible season 3 really interesting, as long as the 6 Ultramen we have so far are the only ones that we have moving forward. Plus, they do sort of hint that the true threats are coming in next season, so let's hope that works out. When you add that with a cool opening theme song and a very entertaining dance-filled ending theme song, you have a pretty solid anime. That's why I'm going to give Ultraman Season 2 an 8 out of 10. Please watch it at your earliest convenience.